don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't.
Hey team, I got another great question from one of my subscribers, and that was, will hill reps make me faster? And I know a lot of athletes out there, including myself, place a high emphasis on hill training and the fact that because you're doing hills, you're activating different muscle groups that you're not going to be activating when you're running on flat surfaces. So yes, hill repetitions, whether you're doing just reps up a 100-meter hill or 150-meter hill, and then jogging back down or walking back down, just depending on how fit you are, over a long period of time, that's going to help you because, again, you're forcing yourself to pump your arms, to work on your form, to lift your knee lift, and to really focus on your overall form. And over a long period of time, over 16 weeks to 24-week build-up, depending on what event you're training for, whether you're training for an 800-meter on the track or you're training for a marathon on the roads, hill training definitely plays a part. And obviously there's a lot of different components that go into success for middle to long distance running. You have to work on your tempo runs. You have to be consistent with your long runs. Doing just hill reps alone is not going to answer the question of, will hill reps make me faster? You know, and in terms of over my chosen event, whether you're training for a 5K, 10K, half marathon, 800 meter, 400 meter, whatever event you're aiming for, hill reps are just one component of being successful as a middle to long distance runner. You have to have that mindset, that knowing that what you're doing is going to be difficult. You're trying to go after, most of you are trying to go after fast times on the track or on the roads. Many of you are just trying to get involved in the sport. Maybe you're trying to run your first 5K. Maybe you're trying to break 6 hours for a marathon. Wherever you all are, hill reps definitely will play a part. And I think that if you're consistent over a long period of time and patient with yourself, knowing that there's going to be ebbs and flows in your training. There's going to be times where you feel like you just absolutely feel horrible in training and that you don't want to do it. There's going to be times where the weather isn't cooperating, whether, you know, there's times where you don't have people to train with, people to push you in workouts. You don't have somebody to go out there and do a tempo run with that can help you run those splits a little bit easier. So really success in getting faster as a middle to long distance runner really comes down to us. It comes down to the level of enthusiasm, the level of motivation that we as athletes bring to the goal of trying to achieve whatever it is we're aiming for. Whether you're trying to lose weight, whether you're trying to start a business, whether you're trying to earn a Boston Marathon qualifying standard, whatever it is, you have to have that long-term vision and a belief in delayed gratification, knowing that the goals that you're aiming for may not occur overnight. That's certainly not the case, but they may not happen as quickly as you want. So are you willing to accept those times when things don't always go perfectly, you know, and will you bounce back quickly? You know, one of the best characteristics of some of the world-class runners, including Olympians that I've trained and lived with over the years, is that they get over disappointments very fast. And they do implement hill training into their workouts. You know, you look at some of the world's top distance runners. I mean, everybody does it. You know, whether it's doing maybe 10 100-meter reps up a hill and then jogging back down for recovery, and you're doing that every week, or you're doing that every other week, or you're doing an 8 to 10 mile tempo run over hillier terrain. All that in combination with doing your tempo runs, doing speed training workouts, doing your long runs, fartlek workouts, all that combined, as well as not losing enthusiasm, and you're staying excited, you're staying motivated, you're staying driven despite the setbacks along the way. All of that will help you become a better distance runner. But I definitely think hill reps can make the difference. They maybe that's something that you haven't considered doing in the past. Maybe you're doing too much of your mileage too slow. Maybe you're not running enough mileage. Maybe you need to start implementing some hill repetitions into your training regimen, and it doesn't necessarily need to be every single week. Maybe you do it every other week. Maybe you do it once a month. But making sure that you know, that's why I always say keep a log. Make sure that you write down what you're doing. That's a mistake I made earlier. I wish I would have written down every single workout I was doing, and I was, but I didn't keep track of everything. I do have some workouts that I did, some long runs that I found in emails that I sent out to my coach and to my family years ago, and little bits and pieces of things that I was doing in training. But what I wish I would have done was just kept a log from when I was in high school all the way up to when I kind of retired out of the sport in 2013, running marathons. So I think that if you can log and write down what you're doing, then you can make those adjustments, see what worked well for you, and see if you were doing enough hill training. And again, you can vary up the hills. Like over the years, the types of workouts I was doing was I would find 50-meter hills. I would find 100-meter hills. Sometimes I would find 300-meter hills, and kind of just gradually, run the first 150 meters at a moderate effort, and then pick up the pace, go into an all-out effort for the last 150 meters. When I wasn't very fit, I would walk down, and then when I got more anaerobically fit, more aerobically fit, I would start jogging on the way down. So again, that's what you want to do with hills. You want to get to a point where you're running, the effort gets faster and the recovery gets less. Okay, but again, you have to first crawl before you can walk. You have to walk before you can run. So be patient with yourself in terms of your buildup. Know that Dr. Joe Vigil, one of the world's top distance running coaches and a world-class, world-renowned exercise physiologist, in his book Road to the Top, stated that it takes about 28 days for the body to adapt to any stress being placed on it. So the workouts, if you're doing hill repetitions today, you're going to see the benefits of that workout that you're doing today on the hills in about 4 weeks from now. So it's going to be hard in the early stages of any buildup. Okay, so be patient with yourself as you don't have to be going all out from the start of your rep to the end of your rep. Okay, you can gradually increase the pace. Maybe just run all out for like the last 20 meters of, say, of a 100-meter hill, instead of going all out from the very start and then really having a very difficult time trying to finish that rep because you're going too fast too soon. Okay, so keep that in mind as well. Longer buildups are always better. Doesn't matter if you're training for an 800-meter or a marathon. 16 weeks to 24 weeks, I've found that is the best time frame if you really want to do it right, versus if you're trying to cram all of your training in, say, 8 weeks to even 12 weeks. 12 weeks is much better than 8 weeks for sure, but it's still, 12 weeks is still a very short amount of time to get ready and be fully prepared for a race. Anything over 6 months, 24 weeks, I think that you really have to give yourself a break, because again, there's only so much you can push in terms of training. There's only so many times you can push the body before you start seeing some diminished returns. Monitor how you're feeling in training. Also monitor the time frame of when you're doing your workouts. If you're feeling like phenomenal in workouts and you're hitting splits that are much faster than you thought you were hitting, consider adjusting the dates of when you run those goal races. Okay, if you have like a 10-mile race coming up somewhere that you're aiming for, but you're running phenomenal in training, like you're in great shape. You've been doing those hill repetitions, you've been doing hillier terrain, you've been doing speed workouts, you've done some really great tempo runs, long runs. Consider adjusting the date of your goal race. Okay, that's something I in the past, I think the timing, sometimes I wish I would have timed my races better, knowing that by looking at the workouts I was doing, I was really running phenomenal workouts in training. Maybe I should have ran my goal race like 2 weeks after doing those workouts versus like 5 to 8 weeks later. Okay, so keep that in mind as well. But will hill reps make you faster? Yes. We'll make a plan, whether doing them every other week or doing them every week. It just depends on, you might want to start off doing them like once a month as you're first starting out. You're laying that aerobic foundation first, and then gradually get to a point where you can do those every week, or you do those every other week. Okay, sometimes you can also substitute maybe a speed workout for a hill repetition workout. You can do a double threshold workout where you do hill repetitions but at threshold effort, maybe in the AM, and then you do a track session or a tempo run in the PM. That's also, if you're doing double threshold training, make sure that you're in great aerobic shape. You've spent at least 4 to 8 weeks building some aerobic fitness before you jump into that type of training, though. Because again, there is a point of diminished returns, so you want to be very smart with your training. So hope this video is helpful for all of you, that in terms of looking at hill repetitions, and if you're asking the question of will hill reps make me faster, I hope that this video and some of these ideas will help you out in terms of your preparation. So thanks so much for your support. Check out RunDreamAchieve.com or the resources below these videos. And if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and that bell icon so when I make new videos, you'll be notified of it. And I'll talk to you all in the next one.